But I'll start with this. Sean Paul, I'm going to tee you up. Your Friday headline is...
I'm going to say Marquette beating West Virginia. I think that's a pretty good headline. And it's not just that they beat West Virginia. They continue to win games in impressive ways. Like today, they didn't get a ton of turnovers. They didn't get like 26 like they had against Illinois, and they were able to make shots with players not named Daryl Morcell, which was pretty impressive to me. Morcell didn't have his best game, but Cam Jones, a three-star recruit, came in, knocked down threes. That was big time. Justin Lewis, a sophomore, has already made more threes this season than he made last year. And one thing to remember is that they didn't have Greg Elliott, who started last year. They didn't have him for the first 3 games of the season. He's now back. He should be a solid contributor for Marquette. But I was wrong on the Golden Eagles. I didn't think that they'd be an NCAA tournament level team, but they will. Tyler Kolek, a great point guard, set up some of the shooters for some great looks. This is a very good Marquette team, and Shaka Smart is doing an outstanding job in year one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing I would say about this group is they just kind of have this never say die attitude. They trailed in this West Virginia game. They trailed multiple times. Monday at Illinois, a game that John and I were both at. I mean, this was a ball game where multiple times it just felt like Illinois was ready to pull away. And partially the Marquette fan base kept them in the game. But this group just does not go away. They have multiple guys who can come in and make big plays. The last 2 days, it's been Cam Jones. Obviously, Morcell was critical in the win against Illinois earlier this week. They've been tested this week. I think we knew we would learn a lot about this Marquette team. And I think, the biggest thing is that, these guys fight. And some days they're not going to force 26 turnovers like they did against Illinois. But, they're going to find a way to win ball games. And now they get another great opportunity coming up Sunday against St. Bonaventure.
Tonight they hit a dozen threes. Tyler Kolek. And the revelation in this game is Cam Jones. I saw him in the preseason at practice. Shaka Smart said, look, this kid's going to help us. In some way, shape, or form. Sometimes with freshmen, there's a come-and-go nature to it. The fact of the matter is this. Marquette won a game tonight in which it wasn't always Morcell or Lewis. And that's what should be so encouraging. In a matter of, let's see here, 5 days, this team has racked up non-conference wins over Illinois, Ole Miss, and tonight West Virginia. And they haven't done it in one way. For a team that was picked 9th in the Big East, to be able to play in different ways speaks volumes about their coach. And the fact is, I was talking with Mike Broker, who is the Marquette men's basketball administrator in the preseason. Mike does a really nice job at Marquette. And Mike said to me, we are benefiting at Marquette because Shaka Smart. Kevin, are you laughing?
Continue on, sir.
The chat is active right now. Well, we just got you to do that. I think Rob Dosser just won $100. Mike Broker he said to me, he goes, we are benefiting at Marquette because we're getting Shaka Smart on a redemption tour. We're getting a motivated Shaka Smart. And you're getting a Shaka Smart who already is a really good coach, but got counted out, had a really bad night against Corpus Christi, a night to forget, and now takes this job in kind of this, I'm going to prove doubters wrong, and I can get my fit of players here because people are synonymous with the Big East because it's not the 5-star prospect comes in, one and done, highly sexy player. You're not seeing Paolo Banchero walk into the Big East. You're not seeing that type of play. You're seeing 3- and 4-year players who develop, who fans become synonymous with, and that's how they win games. Marquette has a DNA. They're going to press you. You're going to have to win the game on their terms. This feels like the happy medium between VCU and Texas. You know why? Because it is. And here's what Shaka Smart has going for him too at Marquette. There is no football. He's king of the hill there. And they spend money like a football school on basketball. They spend money like a football school on basketball, Kevin.
Yeah, and let me add this. You said kind of Shaka's got a lot to prove here. I think a lot of these guys on this roster, they're dudes that just like Shaka have a lot to prove. A guy like Daryl Morcell needed to prove to the NBA that he could score at a pro level. That was the big knock, was he wasn't a polished enough scorer. He certainly answered a lot of those questions. A guy like Kirk Weth, He was, in and out of the rotation in Oklahoma, was a good defender. He has really stepped up and brought them tremendous energy. A guy like Kolek, he wants to prove that he could play at the Big East level. He didn't get those offers out of high school. He was in the Atlantic 10. He had a good year. There were still the questions. Is he athletic enough? Is he a point guard? Here he is playing at a super, super high level. So I just think this team really embodies what Shaka wants out of a group. And because of that, everyone is so bought in. And that's why they've been able to find a way to win these close games.
Hold the phone for a second. CBB Wagers is in the comments right now and says, let's see them make the tournament for us before I crown him king. Let's make one thing clear, CBB Wagers. Nobody's crowning him king. We're just saying that he's off to a nice start. Why does it have to be all or nothing all the time? He's got the program going in the right direction. The fact is, the Steve Wojciechowski era at Marquette University was a failure. But the fact is, in the last decade, people might not realize this, Marquette's gone to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament 3 times. We're not saying that they're going there this year, but we're saying we expected nothing from Marquette this season. They have 3 power conference wins in 5 days. You can both understand that it's only November while saying Marquette is the biggest surprise in college basketball thus far. Are they not, Sean?
They definitely are. I mean, like I said, I was wrong on them. And here's the thing. They've been underdogs in every single power conference game they've won. They were 3.5-point underdogs against Ole Miss. They were 5-point underdogs against West Virginia and 8.5-point underdogs against Illinois. They were not supposed to win these games, but they did win these games, and they were down against Ole Miss, they were down against Illinois, and they were down against West Virginia, and they were able to come back in all of them. And here's my thing on Shaka Smart. If he like you said, if he makes a tournament at Marquette this year, the fan base will love him. But at Texas, he made the tournament 3 times, and he would have made it probably a 4th the year that COVID canceled the season. If he's making the tournament 4 to 6 years, you sprinkle in a couple of tournament wins in there potentially, the fan base will love him. Maybe that doesn't work at Texas, but it'll work at Marquette.